All right, let's do this. So, a few weeks ago, Carl made a very interesting announcement around a new line of product called CMF by Nothing. And it did ring a lot of bells. So, I thought I'll make a quick presentation about this topic and what this means and how you can benefit out of this. So, let's take a look. All right, so today we'll be talking about CMF by not nothing, but by everything. And the content would be what is the definition, where is it applied, why does it exist, the reason for these applications and how you can be a benefit out of these category. So the definition of CMF, while you all know the full form of it, it's actually a derivative of industrial design. And this is a highly integrated design methodology that integrates creativity and management. Of course, it takes a lot of study about color, material, finish process to bring out a new innovative design that obviously meets the new use of the target customer while achieving a high degree of unity of art and technology. So it's a combination of a lot of things, and this was primarily started in the Bauhaus period, where a lot of a lot of teachers in that period started teaching about unique, simple designs. There are a ton of books you can read about. It's very interesting. And one of the students that was heavily inspired, that some of you might know, his name is Johnny Ive. And some of his creation are unique, and we will touch on upon it during this presentation. So, what does CMF mean, right? While we all know it as color, material, and finish, there is, color obviously is something that you see when you first look at a product, right? It is the first thing that strikes your eyes. And this is probably where the emotional connect is created to the product first, even before you touch it, right? And the moment you touch it, of course, the material that is used, the finishing, and sometimes the pattern comes into the picture, right? That will form something that always used to call the hand feel. So these three things essentially, the different types of material that is used. It can, in let's say a smartphone, it can be plastic, it can be glass, it can be, I remember the metal phones that used to come. And of course, the different types of finish will also determine how it feels on the hand. The finishing process, obviously, if I have to give a simple example, the sandblasting is a classic example for a lot of furnitures. And yeah, the pattern also can bring up a lot of different output based on the materials that is used. So they are all interconnected, and this is one, of course, and they all try to improve the end user's experience at the end of the day. Now you might be wondering, where is it used? Well, in fact, it's been used for a long, long time, since 20th century actually, and it's everywhere. So let's start with automobile industry. So automobile industry has been heavily influenced with CMF designers for a long time, and it's not just automobile; it's also home appliances. This is Samsung's bespoke model lineup of refrigerators created by their talented team. And yeah, you can also mix and match and customize the refrigerators. I have one product from this lineup in the shape of microwave, and it looks stunning. It's not just consumer electronics, but also furniture, which is heavily invested by or affected or influenced rather by CMF designers. And I have few friends who are in this industry, and they take a ton of time, trust me, to come up with the right product, and they play around with everything that CMF stands for, the color, materials, and finish. And it takes sometimes months and months to come up with a perfect product. It does involve in a lot of trials, a lot of research, a lot of look at the industry, benchmark, try to see the patterns in the industry and come up with unique designs. So that's where it is obviously was used heavily. But of course, I want to talk about this particular image, right? This is the iMac G3, and there is a reason why it created a storm when it released. And the reason is simple: it used a lot of colors. Of course, the precursor to that is the new line of iMacs. You can check this out in the nearest Apple store or on the website. But there is a reason why this was disruptive, right? Uh, eh, all the computers were black, right? And when they came up with this line of product, it created ripples in, if not, back in the day, there wasn't social media, but I believe if there was, it would have created a lot of opinions and, you know, um, you know, yeah, videos around it. So there is a reason. Remember, color, it created an impact, and there's a strong reason why this was disruptive. So of course, it's not just consumer electronics. You'd be surprised. A company called Segrid, who produces wallets, also is heavily influenced by the CMF designers in their end product. As you can see, there's ton of colors, ton of materials that they use. They use everything from leather, which was the primary choice of uh, product, but they also make a lot of products with TPU and other types of cotton materials. So yeah, these are the OGs of the RFID card protectors, and I personally use one of these, and they last a lifetime. It's been like what 8-9 years that I've used one, and the recent one that I bought was the band wallet, because I wanted to I wanted to keep some notes outside the wallet too. So yeah, this is another company that is heavily invested by CMF designers. They influence a lot of their products, which is very evident. As you can see here, the pattern and the shapes, they are all very striking. So like I mentioned, it's everywhere else. It's not just these companies. Google has their lineup of products called Pixel Buds, Nest devices, Pixel devices, that is a byproduct of their CMF designers. Companies like Xiaomi, they also use, especially their ecosystem of product lineup products, the Mi look that you might be familiar with, and that is seen across speakers, projectors, printers, and the lamp that you might have got at your home. And Samsung, like I mentioned, their bespoke line of products is designed by the CMF team. And I also can think of, I think the flip phone, the Flip 3, I believe had a bespoke line with a very subtle color, very similar to the fridge in the home appliance segment that I showed you earlier. Where else do you think? Well, it has been actually used since like 20th century, right? I mentioned companies like Volkswagen and Philips, Motorola, Samsung. They've all established design teams inside their company in-house long time ago. And in the 21st century, a lot of Asian companies started implementing the same. Companies like Media in their home appliance, Hisense in their products, Haier, Lenovo, Siemens. They all started using CMF designers to come up with their lineup of product. In fact, it cuts across all categories these days, and they come with brilliant, talented designers come with brilliant products at the end of the day. Of course, many more companies which are not listed, they all have a CMF design team in the company. So why CMF by nothing exists, right? Well, to understand that, we'll have to take a look, step back, and see what has been happening in the industry uh, for a long time. So if you can see the automobile industry, right? So if you look at the high end or the premium or the top tier, you will see a pattern, right? You will see a lot of blacks, a lot of white, a lot of grays in their high-end cars. But as you go down into the entry level or the mid range, you will start noticing many more colors in their offering. Not saying they will not be outliners, of course, there's always exception, but the general trend is what you see in front. So it's not just automobile. If you look at product pages, the high-end products are usually have a very black background, and this is a dark theme from colors, the material design language of Android. So yeah, so the high end usually uses a black, but if you go to the lower end, you will start seeing a lot of colors popping on the product pages of the respective, right? So for example, in iPhone 14, you will start seeing white background and a lot of colors usage, and of course, colors is used during the product cycle life cycle to increase curiosity and attention. For example, Apple does that every year. They bring up a new dedicated color during the mid year life cycle. So yeah, so the high end is black and white, and the low end come up with a lot of colors. So well, no surprises here. Nothing focuses on the top tier or the high end. So hence you only have two colors available, which is black and white. And they've recently announced CMF by nothing. That will the brand color itself is very very striking. The three dots on the top right, by the way, are nothing but color, material, and finish. So this will cater to the entry to the mid-level segment, and they've already announced a lot of that the products that they'll be coming up with. So if you look at the color, the primary color which I looked up, it comes up to be RGB value of 251, 91, and 48, and the CMYK and the hex value respectively. Again, this will probably not be the final, because when you take the color of a video, it might not be the right color. So there will be a variance of this, but yeah, this is the primary color, but they will have subsequent secondary color, or what we call non-primary colors, in form of gray, dark gray, metallic, white, and of course the black. So yeah, it's not going to be just orange color products that you will expect from them. It'll be a range of colors, but the brand color will be signified with this primary color. I believe they will get into the smartphone side of things eventually. While they have not announced it, there is a very strong reason, right? And that is the market. Now, if you look at nothing, they cater to 30,000 and above, which I've mentioned in one of the previous videos, video number 2, which you can go and check it out if you haven't. But that only caters to 13% of the market, and something tells me that CMF eventually will have to come with their lineup of smartphones also to cater the lion's share of the market here, right? If I take the market around 140, 145 million smartphone, they do not have a presence in the majority of the market. Well, time will tell if I'm right, but I strongly believe that they will come up with a lineup of products tomorrow or day after. So, why does it exist? Why another range of product, or why another range of brand rather, right? The first thing is to obviously differentiate, so that there is clear differentiation in the TG that one brand targets, and the other brand can go and cater to different types of priorities. For example, when you are catering to the high end or the luxury segment, for example, there are the price is not a big relevant. The features and the facilities, for example, in cars, right? When you go to high-end car, you don't go and look at the pricing sticker. So yeah, so different different tiers have different needs. So to differentiate that, it needs to be that's a very strong reason, of course, to create an emotional connect, right? That's been very evident right from, let's say, in Nothing's case, or in Mercedes, right? It's when you purchase a Mercedes, it's not a logical reasoning, right? Why do you choose Mercedes and not BMW or or a Lamborghini? So a lot of these are emotional connect. So hence you need to you to differentiate yourself, you exist there. Of course, the perceived quality, when it's clear the distinction between brand A and brand B, you also have a perceived quality that it will be of a higher end quality, and the lower will obviously have some compromises, not in terms of bad quality, but yeah, some compromises will be there. Of course, all of this is to create a brand identity. In case of CMF by nothing, right? Instead of black and white, you create pop, bright pop colors, and of course they will lead with their design philosophy and design ethos, which will definitely make them stand. And of course, at the end of the day, they have to capture the market, and it's not just to there on a product page. At the end of the day, they have to sell their product. So that's few of the reasons why I think CMF by nothing exists, and what can you do about it? How you can benefit out of these CMF designers? So the first thing is obviously to learn, right? And one of the industries or the areas that you can start learning is industrial design, graphics design, fashion design, and art, right? These are four major categories that you can start learning, and there are tons of jobs out there. If you just do a quick search, there are a lot of CMF designers requirement out there. Of course, they all come at different stages, some entry level to more experienced requirements. So there are tons of opportunity. Again, an example here: Bang& Olufsen produces high-end audio products, and they always are looking for a CMF designer. And no wonder their product looks, a unique design language, but also very, very striking, along, of course, with great audio quality. So that's what I had prepared. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you found this useful and hopefully meaningful for some of you. Until next time, take care and thank you so much.